And of course, it's about that time of day again, 11 o'clock Eastern time, time to wrap up our trades, time to review all the trades that we took today. Today was a Friday, not just any Friday. Today was a non-farm payroll Friday. What does a non-farm payroll Friday tell me to do, guys? A non-farm payroll Friday says, well, like every Friday, it says you got to be aware time is not on our side. The later we get in the morning on non-farm payroll Friday, the more dangerous the trading environment gets. There's no doubt that human beings do not like to work late on Fridays, that we all want to get out from behind our desks on a Friday afternoon, and that's no different here in the markets we trade. So we knew the time was going to be a little bit sensitive late in the morning this morning. We also knew we had major news bright and early at 8:30. So we were here early, we were ready, and we actually got a really early few big clues here from crude oil. And boy, if you've got a little bit of risk tolerance out there right now, it's after 11 o'clock on a Friday, so we don't really recommend trading very much after 11 o'clock on a Friday. You've got to have a really good reason to do that. Once again, I want to remind you guys that all of our trading strategies are reviewed in our private membership materials. You're gonna get all the info you guys need on this, provide you with all the tools, all the techniques. First trade this morning, you can see here, the results today speak for themselves. Had a very good non-farm payroll Friday. Had to wait for the news to come out at 8:30, so we did lose about an hour and a half there. It got pretty sloppy there around that news. It was kind of funny to see, well, I guess it wouldn't be funny, but it was interesting to see that the unemployment rate ticked all the way down to 7.8%, which is a huge drop from the, 8.5% we had before. So the reality is we're looking at this going, there's no way this unemployment rate dropped like this. So we were suspicious about how that news would be perceived. And our suspicions were warranted because we quickly heard from other figures in the marketplace that they were wondering how that was manipulated to be pushed down that far. Anyways, the news came out flat. Surprisingly low unemployment rate, which should have been seen as bullish. But it was kind of a very interesting situation where the fact that the unemployment rate dropped so far, we were curious to see what the reaction was going to be, right, from the rest of the marketplace. So we knew that the non-farm payroll news at 8:30 was going to be a big player in our day today. Non-farm payroll news, we talked about this today in the morning prep. There are two scenarios with the news. One, the news comes out higher or lower than expected and the markets go bonkers. It turns into be a very violent and very volatile half an hour. You can't trade that. The second scenario for non-farm payrolls is that the price action or the news comes out as expected. So it doesn't fool anybody. And if that happens, we talked about the pricing in, how non-farm payrolls is such an important news event that every analyst and their sister are watching that report, which means they're going to give those analysis reports to their money manager bosses who give it to their traders, and of course it manifests in price being priced in, the news priced into the marketplace. That scenario usually results in very sideways sloppy markets. So the first thing we talked about today about this news and non-farm payrolls was the fact that if A, it came out unexpected, it'd be probably too violent to trade, or B, it came out higher or lower, it'd be too violent to trade. If it came out exactly as expected, it would be sloppy, sideways, range bound, and it would be difficult to trade. So either A or B, we were going to be sitting on our hands after non-farm payrolls. It really didn't matter what happened. We were going to be staying patient because we knew it could be a rocky ride lower. You'll see we stayed short on crude oil all morning because of a very easy clue we got. What was the big clue we saw on crude? The clue we got on crude today, you may see it already here. We called these trades live in real time today. You'll notice that we began our morning session trying to push through the highs. Crude oil made a nice move yesterday, very bullish, and then we fail at the highs, and that was our trigger to get short. We love to trade ranges. The ranges are my favorite part about this method. Find a trading range, sell the highs, buy the lows. In this case, we can tell crude oil gives us the M pattern. We take the short, news comes out at 8:30. We slop around here for the news at 8:30. We decided that if we got below a certain swing low, we would then be able to jump back in short, which we did, and we kept selling short. It wasn't until about 10:15 that this market personality got so sloppy and so slow that we pretty much called it a morning on crude. We were open to new trading opportunities, but we always remember, though, the non-farm payroll Fridays, a lot of traders, once that news comes and goes, they're going to get out of their desks. They're going to get out of the market and go get the weekend started. So we were very aware of that. So first trade today here on crude was nothing more than a range high selling opportunity, which we called in real time. Okay, now this trade room is not supposed to be a trade calling service, but you will see here, though, that we did provide the exact entry, the exact targets. I gave you guys the trailing stop on the way down. Nice 50-tick winner there. All right, our job here in this room is to teach you to fish. We're not exactly trying to be a bunch of trade callers in this room. We're trying to empower you. You came here to be a day trader, not because of the money, but because of the freedom. You want the ability to do what you want, when you want to do it. And in my humble opinion, the right way to learn to trade is to learn the skills, to learn the good habits, to learn the proper techniques, the best entry techniques, the best trade management strategies, the best risk management, right? How to manage risk properly, how to manage your emotions. Okay, all of those are so important to a new trader. You are really cutting yourself short if you're here for just a bunch of trade calls. You're missing the picture. That's like going to Harvard just for the cafeteria, right? Forget about the law school, the medical school. Forget about all the great education. I'm here for the donuts, right? It's not the right way to use this material. So the reality is we get short on crude because we're coming off the highs. We had to wait a little bit for the news to come and go. It lasted a little bit longer than we thought it would because I think a lot of the markets were waiting to see how on earth they got that lower unemployment number. Then, of course, we saw the euro keep going. Unfortunately, we didn't have a chance to grab the euro. The euro never pulled back. After 8:30, that euro just started going. And, of course, we called a short here below the 30.60, but that's a little bit too late to grab that short now, the euro being, of course, a European-based currency, so we're not going to try to force that late in the morning. So euro, we definitely had a buying opportunity early in the morning, but just never gave us a chance to get into it. Russell, same thing on the Russell. Now, the Russell had some major resistance overhead, which we found on a slower time frame. We knew the Russell had some serious resistance here. So all we really could do was wait for price to get through that resistance. And now you can see here we are getting ready for a long position. But again, check your time. It's 11:15. Too late. So the Russell and the euro both were decent opportunities, but just never really could get our hands on it. And then I have a feeling what's going to be one of the bigger moves of the afternoon here will be this gold. Now, this is what we call a simple price structure. What's the price structure here, folks? The price structure is how the candlesticks are set up on your chart. We call this a channel, right? Oh, yeah. I've heard of that before, Joe. Absolutely. A price channel, right? So a price channel is a structure. Well, this structure, we kick it up a couple notches by finding the A, the B, the C. We take out our Fibonacci tool and we measure from A up to B. That qualifies the C area, which qualified it perfectly. We then take the B down to the C. That now will qualify the D area. That, my friends, is the highest percentage channel resistance. So we did two things. We said, first of all, now that we know this channel resistance is at 1790, let's make sure we don't just buy until we get above that resistance, right? So as the gold was breaking out, we were thinking, you know what? That's the previous high of day. Maybe we should be bullish here. Maybe we should be buying right now. That's what our strategy for the previous high of day says. Not so fast though. Check your resistance. That blue line right there, that's your resistance level. So we decided if we could go through it, wave pattern long. If we couldn't go through it, two-step pattern short. We ended up looking for this trade here on the gold. My exact entry, get my worksheet back up there, right around 1787. It went a little bit for me, but then kind of sat there sideways, and you can see there that was kind of that was the last straw, kind of the last move there this morning that I was interested in. Again, I would not be surprised if gold ends all the way back up around that 1783, all the way back down at 1783. Those advanced price structures are very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. So the simple price structure is the channel. We then use Fibonacci to calculate the perfect channel, the channel resistance. And this should end up tumbling off these highs. It's just 11:15 right now, and we are no longer interested. Fridays are always a great day to get started, everybody, as a member. If you are a member right now, we had 2 really, really good training sessions this week. Those were recorded. Those were uploaded into our members' materials. If you are not a member right now, Fridays are a great time to get started. I work on Saturdays every week, so I'm always here to help you guys as new members that have questions. I'll be in the Skype chat the rest of the day today, and you have the weekend ahead of you. Not just any weekend. This is the Columbus Day weekend. We get a long weekend coming up. So now we get a 3-day weekend. All the new members out there can spend those 3 days studying their course materials, getting ready for another busy week next week. I want to encourage you guys to come join me as a member. That way I can provide you with the needed training. That way I can provide you with every tool you see me using here. I'm going to show you how to find those advanced price structures. I'm going to show you, once you find those advanced price structures, how to find the exact entry location, how to properly take the trade according to your own risk tolerance, and how to manage that trade every step of the way. Keep your emotions in check. Remember your risk-reward ratios, right? Your risk management. We'll go over all of that as a member. Guys, this is professional trading education. I thank you all for being here today. And we get some time here now. I'm going to review the news for next week. Don't forget, next Monday is Columbus Day. Right here in the U.S., Columbus Day is a holiday that almost every state, there are a couple states in the union here in the U.S. do not observe it, but the markets will be closed on Monday, so we will have our trade room closed. As traders, we work bankers and teachers hours, so if the kids are out of school, we are out of the market. I will be in the office on Monday working hard for you. Our support teams will be here on Monday, and so will our new membership teams. So keep in touch on everything here this morning. We'll see you guys on Tuesday morning back in the trade room at 8 o'clock. I'll be working on Monday, and we'll get some time here to answer the rest of your questions today. Once again, my name is Joseph. Thank you so much for your time today. And again, I do want to remind you guys, our information is posted here for you to give us a shout if you have any questions.